Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking at motivational quotes. And, well, their power. What's kind of interesting is we're going to be using a podcast episode that's designed for 5-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we'll see how this goes, but I'm really curious to see what kind of insights we can uncover.
I think that's a brilliant approach. Sometimes when you simplify ideas, it can actually lead to deeper understanding.
Exactly, and to help us kind of sift through all these nuggets of wisdom, we've got our expert with us, as always, ready to connect the dots and find some of those hidden gems within these seemingly simple statements.
Absolutely.
Let's jump right in. The first quote that caught my eye is from Theodore Roosevelt. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Now, the source material simplifies this. It says that believing in yourself is like having superpowers.
Right.
Is that oversimplifying it a little bit? What do you think?
Not necessarily. Think about it when you really believe you can achieve something. It's like you create a pathway in your mind, you direct your focus and energy towards that goal.
So it's more than just positive thinking. It's really about how that belief influences our actions.
Exactly. There's a psychological phenomenon. It's called the self-fulfilling prophecy, where our beliefs actually shape our reality.
Whoa.
Like studies have shown that students who believe they can learn a subject are more likely to succeed, regardless of their initial aptitude. Their belief motivates them to put in that extra effort,
Right.
to persevere through challenges.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, I remember when I was at work and I had a challenging project, and I almost gave up before I even started because I doubted my ability to pull it off. But then I kind of forced myself to shift my perspective, and I started focusing on the things that I could control, breaking the project down into smaller steps. And just that tiny shift in belief made a huge difference. I still faced obstacles along the way, but I didn't feel completely paralyzed by self-doubt.
That's a great example, because that belief, it can create a mental momentum. It's not about ignoring the challenges, but it's approaching them with a different attitude, a sense of possibility.
I like that. Okay, let's move on to the next quote then. This one's from Sam Levinson. Don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going. Our source material uses this analogy of a clock.
Yeah.
Constant movement to kind of highlight persistence.
Keep going.
But I feel like this quote goes a little bit deeper than that. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's about shifting our focus from the end goal to the process itself.
Oh.
Like this idea of process over product, that's so crucial for long-term success. When we obsess over the outcome, we often get discouraged by setbacks, or slow progress. But when we just focus on consistent effort, just doing the work day after day, we develop discipline, we develop resilience, and ultimately a deeper sense of satisfaction.
So it's about enjoying the journey, not just focusing on the destination. Because let's be honest, sometimes the journey can be pretty bumpy.
Exactly, and that's where I think the next set of quotes kind of comes in, focusing on failure and opportunity. We've got Winston Churchill saying, success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts.
Right.
And then Chris Grosser adds, opportunities don't happen, you create them.
I love how those two quotes are kind of intertwined. It's like they're acknowledging that setbacks are inevitable.
Right.
But then also empowering us to take ownership of our journey.
Yeah.
The source material uses a really great analogy here. A child learning to ride a bike. All those wobbles and falls are just part of the process.
Yeah.
And then to kind of illustrate Grosser's point about creating opportunities, they talk about a child who wants to sell cookies. And if no one's asking, they have to create the opportunity by going out there and proactively offering their treats.
I love that. Those simple analogies, they really do reveal some profound truths about resilience and proactivity. It's a reminder that these principles apply to every aspect of life, from learning a new skill to building a successful business.
So it's about viewing failure as feedback, as a learning opportunity, and then taking those proactive steps to create the opportunities we want to see. It's about that mindset shift, right?
Exactly. And I think that leads us perfectly to another quote that highlights the importance of mindset, particularly in relation to talent and hard work.
Okay.
This one's from Tim Notke. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And the source material, I love how they break it down for kids, explaining how consistent effort can actually outperform natural ability.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that classic story, right? The tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race.
Oh, that's a good connection. And this quote really speaks to that power of a growth mindset, right?
Absolutely.
That belief that our abilities are not fixed, but they can be developed through dedication and hard work.
Exactly.
So even if someone has natural talent, if they don't put in the effort, someone with more dedication and drive can ultimately surpass them.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that potential is not a fixed point. It's something that we can cultivate and expand through consistent effort and a willingness to learn and grow.
That's a really empowering message. It means we're not limited by our innate abilities. Our potential is far greater than we often realize. But how do we translate this potential into tangible results? That's where I think our next cluster of quotes kind of comes in, right? The ones about turning dreams into reality.
I agree. I think these quotes offer a roadmap for transforming those seemingly impossible dreams into concrete achievements. They highlight the importance of vision, of planning, and most importantly, taking action.
Yeah. We've got Nelson Mandela's famous words, "It always seems impossible until it's done."
Yes.
Then we've got Robin Sharma reminding us to dream big, start small, act now. And finally, Peter Drucker is stating, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." I love how each quote kind of builds on the last.
They're have pieces of a puzzle, each offering a unique perspective. But when you combine them, they paint this complete picture of what it takes to manifest our dreams. Like Mandela's quote encourages us to believe in the possibility, even when the path ahead seems daunting. Sharma provides practical advice on how to approach those seemingly overwhelming goals. Break them down into smaller, actionable steps.
Right.
And Drucker emphasizes the importance of agency, reminding us that we're not passive bystanders in our own lives. We have the power to shape our future through the choices we make and the actions that we take.
It's so inspiring. It's like they're giving us permission to dream big and then handing us a toolkit to make those dreams a reality.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that this process of, dream building and future creating, it's rarely a smooth linear path.
Right.
There will be setbacks, obstacles, and moments when that initial belief might waver.
Which is where those last two quotes about resilience and limitless potential come in, right?
Exactly. They provide the antidote to discouragement and self-doubt, reminding us that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities for growth and learning.
Yeah, we have that powerful Japanese proverb, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8."
Love that one.
And the more modern quote, "Your only limit is your mind." They seem to go hand in hand, emphasizing both perseverance and mindset. I love how the source material uses the simple act of learning to tie your shoelaces to illustrate the proverb's message.
It's so relatable, right? Think about how many times a child stumbles and fumbles before they finally master that seemingly simple task.
Yeah.
But they keep trying, they keep getting back up, and eventually they succeed.
It's a powerful reminder that setbacks are just part of the learning process. And with persistence and determination, we can overcome any obstacle. But it's not just about grit, is it? It's also about believing in our own limitless potential, just like that second quote suggests.
Absolutely. When we believe that our only limit is our mind, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We're no longer bound by, perceived limitations or past failures.
This is all so fascinating. It's amazing how these seemingly simple quotes, designed to inspire a 5-year-old, have sparked such a deep conversation. But there's still so much more to unpack. Let's take a quick break and come back to explore these ideas even further.
Sounds great.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm still thinking about everything we talked about.
Me too.
Who knew that motivational quotes could be so thought-provoking?
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, these simple statements, they really give you some insights into human motivation and potential. And the fact that they work for kids and adults, well, it kind of speaks to how universal these principles are.
Yeah, and one thing that struck me is how all these quotes, how they're connected. It's like pieces of a puzzle. Each one offers a unique perspective. But when you put them all together, well, they create this whole picture of what it takes to lead a successful and fulfilling life.
I totally agree. It's like they're giving us a roadmap, so navigate the challenges and opportunities that we face in life.
Exactly. And speaking of roadmaps, let's revisit those quotes about turning dreams into reality. We had Mandela's, "It always seems impossible until it's done."
Right.
Sharma's, "Dream big, start small, act now." And Drucker's, "The best way to predict the future is to create it."
Right.
I want to explore this idea of dream building in a little more detail. What do you think?
Well, Mandela's quote, it really highlights having a vision, a clear sense of what you want, even if it seems impossible at first. It's about believing in the possibility, even when you don't know what the path ahead looks like.
It's like when you finish a puzzle. At first, it just seems like a mess. But with patience and, knowing what the end goal is, you eventually put it all together.
That's a great analogy. And then Sharma, he comes in with some real practical advice, on how to approach those overwhelming goals.
Right.
Dream big, he says, but start small. It's about breaking those ambitions down into smaller steps, things you can actually do today to move you closer.
Right, because if you only focus on the end goal, it could be so overwhelming. But if you just break it down into smaller steps, it makes it feel possible, like climbing a mountain. You don't just teleport to the top. You got to take it one step at a time.
Exactly. And then Drucker adds another layer to this,
Okay.
reminding us that we're not just passive bystanders. The best way to predict the future is to create it, he says. It's about taking ownership of our dreams and, understanding that we can shape our future through the choices we make.
Oh, I love that we're the architects of our own destiny.
Yeah.
It's empowering, but also a little scary, right?
It definitely comes with responsibility, but it's also freeing to realize that we're not just, at the mercy of fate. We have the power to make choices and take actions that shape our reality.
So when we combine these three things, believing in possibility, breaking down big goals, and, creating our future, we basically have the formula to make our dreams come true. It's like we're given this blank canvas and we can paint whatever we want.
And that painting, well, it's bound to have some brushstrokes we didn't plan for, some happy accidents,
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes we have to just step back and, reassess. Because as we all know, the path to success, it's rarely a straight line.
That's where those quotes about resilience and potential come in.
Exactly.
The ones that tell us to embrace those setbacks and see them as opportunities.
It's all about changing how we see failure.
Yeah.
Seeing it as feedback, not a defeat.
Right. We have that Japanese proverb, fall 7 times, stand up 8.
I love that one.
And the more modern one, your only limit is your mind. What I think is cool is how they use these simple things, like in the source material, to explain these deep concepts, like that proverb. It's explained by a child learning to tie their shoelaces.
Oh, yeah.
They might mess up a bunch of times, but they keep trying, and then they finally get it.
It's a really powerful image, right? It reminds us that messing up, it's not a sign of weakness. It's just part of learning.
Yeah. It's like Thomas Edison said, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Exactly.
It's about believing in yourself, that your only limit is your mind kind of thinking. Because when you believe you can learn and grow, well, that opens up all kinds of possibilities.
Absolutely. And that belief is so important for a growth mindset, understanding that we can always get better through effort, perseverance.
So it's not just about bouncing back.
Right.
It's about using those experiences to learn, to become stronger and more resourceful. Like those setbacks, they're actually making us better.
Yeah, I love that image. Setbacks as a forge. They shape and strengthen us. It's a powerful reminder that challenges, they're not something to be scared of. We should embrace them, as chances to grow.
And growing isn't just about reaching a goal or being successful. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. It's about expanding our capacity for resilience, creativity, and compassion. It's about living a life that is fulfilling and meaningful.
That's a great way to put it. And it brings us to another important part of this. Aligning our actions with our values. Because true success, it's not just about doing what we set out to do. It's about doing it in a way that's true to ourselves, that's meaningful.
As we talk about all this, I'm noticing how these quotes, they're not just about success in the usual way. They're about a way of being, a mindset that helps us to thrive in all parts of life.
I couldn't agree more. It's about having that resilient spirit, a curious mind, a compassionate heart. It's about enjoying the journey and, using it to grow and discover ourselves.
It's about realizing that we can do so much more than we think, and then taking those steps to make it happen, to make a real difference in the world.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really important question, one that's at the heart of all this.
Okay, I'm listening. What is it?
If these quotes are like a guide to success,
Yeah.
What does success actually mean to you? Is it about goals or money or being recognized, or is it something more?
Wow, that's a great question. It makes you think about what's really important, beyond just the usual ideas of success.
Right. Is it about living by your values, having real connections, making a difference in the world? In the end, only you can decide what success means.
It's about creating a life that feels right, that reflects who you are and what you're passionate about, and using these quotes, these little nuggets of wisdom, to guide you along the way.
That's beautifully put, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from today. These quotes, they're more than just words. They offer a way to live a more powerful and meaningful life. They remind us that we are not just along for the ride. We are in control.
We have the power to choose our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately our destiny.
Exactly. It's inspiring, isn't it?
It is. So as you go about your week, I want you to keep thinking about that question. What does success really mean to you? And how can you use what we've learned today from these motivational quotes to create a life that's both fulfilling and makes a difference? A life that reflects who you truly are and contributes to the world in a good way.
I think that's a perfect way to sum it up.
It is. A big thank you to our expert for taking us on this deep dive. And to everyone listening, remember, believe in yourself, embrace the journey, and never stop learning. Until next time, keep those minds curious and keep those spirits bright. Okay, so we're back and ready to kind of wrap up our exploration of these motivational gems. It's amazing how these simple quotes are the ones meant for 5-year-olds. Well, he sparked some pretty deep thoughts.
It really shows you how powerful these basic truths are. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been around the block a few times. These ideas about belief and action and, resilience and a growth mindset, they're always relevant. They always have an impact.
As we've been talking, I've been thinking about how these quotes can be used in different parts of life, not just for work success.
That's a great point. These principles, they're so adaptable. You can use them in your relationships, your creative stuff, even for your physical and mental health.
It's like they give you a framework for facing any challenge or opportunity with courage, determination, and belief in yourself.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really crucial question, one that I think is at the core of what we've been talking about today.
Okay, I'm all ears. Lay it on me. What's the question?
Well, if these quotes are like a roadmap to success,
Yeah.
what does success actually mean to you? Is it about checking things off your list, or money, or getting famous, or is there something more to it?
Whoa, that really makes you think. It forces us to decide what success is for ourselves, not just going with what everyone else says.
Exactly. Is it about living by what you believe in, having strong connections, making a difference in the world? Ultimately, only you can answer that.
It's about making a life that feels real and fulfilling, a life that shows your purpose and what you love, and using these principles, these little bits of wisdom, to guide you as you go.
I love that. And I think that's the biggest lesson from today. These quotes, they're not just feel-good sayings. They offer a way to live a more powerful and meaningful life. They remind us that we're not just passengers, we're the drivers.
We have a power to choose our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately our destiny. That's pretty incredible when you think about it.
It really is. So as you go through your week, I want you to think about that question. What does success really mean to you? And how can you use what we've learned today to create a life that is both fulfilling and makes a difference? A life that reflects who you truly are and contributes to the world in a positive way.
That is a fantastic note to end on. A huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through this thought-provoking deep dive. And to all of you for joining us. Remember, believe in yourself, embrace the journey, and never stop learning and growing. Until next time.